Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I don't know what part this is, but it doesn't matter. Welcome back. It's The Burning Wheel. It's part 4, 3, 2, 12, 16, episode 22.
Four.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for keeping track of that shit for me. Listen, I got another job to do, and that's get in the way of the things you believe in. So,
Curse you.
so Lady Alessandra, let's start with you. So what's your jam? The last time this was immediately like your friend Soren came back and he was all drunk and shit, and you've been hiding him away in the place. And the king is like, it's not you're like hiding him here like no one knows he's here, but it's like, yo, we're gonna take care of him and don't get involved. Just stay the way. His Highness has it under control. But also, like, immediately, like, the next day, Tabitha would have come to your house.
Ugh.
So I don't know if you wanted to get in the way of that or, like, let that happen. Because she's here to see the king and her brother. And you're not part of the triumvirate of people who are best buds from a long time ago.
I hate that.
Oh, I know you do. Which is why I'm giving you the opportunity to get involved.
To get involved of the triumvirate of Tabitha.
Oh, I don't know if getting involved in the triumvirate's gonna work, but yeah, but I just want to know if you like if you make an effort to like bump into her as she arrives or leaves, that's fine. But
this is my house.
I mean,
I'm not just gonna let someone come visit my house without also coming to visit me.
They're visiting the court. You're not really invited to these meetings.
That's rude.
It's a private meeting with the king. It's an audience. They got to talk about Soren.
But
it's you're a PC
official,
and you have dice, so
if it's an official meeting with the king, like all the other courtiers have, I have every right to be there. Of
course it's not, and of course you don't.
Aww.
So she shows up like first thing in the morning that night to like come and like see her brother, but she comes back a bunch of times over. Like there's about a few days between, because basically Dave's character, like Lodovic, is ahead of us by a few days. So we could just jump to that point if you want. But basically, she shows up not to talk to you. Nobody's having any of it. Secret meeting with the king, leaves, and then that happens a few times. But
I don't like it.
I know.
I
but
don't
also,
like.
you got other shit going on, right? You don't have a belief about getting in the way of her shit.
No, I don't, but I still don't have to like it.
It's true. It's true. So she's very distracted with this. She's focused on this like crisis with her
Actually,
brother.
I do have a belief about this.
Okay.
She's a member of the Queen's Inner Circle.
Yes. In so much as it exists, yeah.
Then I need her to be my ally.
Good fucking luck. Okay.
Wow.
All right. I believe in you. You can do it. You guys.
It's a belief.
This is all very good.
Yeah.
It's a belief
endorse
that
this
I
statement.
have.
Sure. Okay. So at what point, it's your house, so you can set up the potential tactical advantage.
Right. I want to. I don't know how I would come at this. Like, there's part of me that is like, your brother was being a real weirdo and saying shit, and I want to like
I'm sure
be like,
she'll love that.
thank you. And then there's the other thing where it's like unassociated from that, but this person is here, and so I can have a conversation with them about like the running of shit. I feel like it's like I sent like a card gets sent to her, like I did with the Lady Treasurer, being like, at your convenience, blah blah blah, want to have a social tea gathering.
Okay. I mean, let's roll to see if you can circles her then.
Okay.
Because she, I think, is like actively
An
not
enmity
doing like
is-
she's 100% focused on like dealing with Soren stuff. But we'll see.
That means that. I mean, it doesn't say that there's anything against trying to circle her up again.
No. I mean, you've circles her before, so you get the extra die.
Okay. I just didn't know if there was a plus for enmity clause, but
No.
it doesn't look like it.
But time and place, you're going to get the penalty for that because she does not have time to have like formal, like at your convenience meetings with anyone. You happen to live in the place where she's meeting with the king, and that's taking up a ton of her time. But you can always try. We'll see. So the ob is 1. She is same station as you. Disposition not okay. So let's call it ob 3.
Okay. And I'm going to throw in my reputation as the. Wait, is this reputation or affiliation on circles?
You can do one of each.
Okay. Reputation as host of the court,
Mm-hmm.
affiliation with the Queen's Inner Circle.
Perfect.
So that's 2 modifiers on a ob 3 test.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still not enough, and I don't
can-
have any 6s.
You can tick another tick another like box towards making her a relationship.
Well, but it's still like a negative relationship, isn't
Yeah.
it?
It sure is. So she just like she's not. You get a letter back written by someone else that she never dictated or even saw your invitation. Basically, from one of her handmaiden that says like it is our our
That's fucking bullshit.
sorrow to tell you that she is unavailable right now, and that we will let you know. Sorry, she's
She's
not home right now.
unavailable, but she's in my fucking
I know
house.
she's in your house, but she's too busy to meet with you, and that's like kind of a burn on you. But also, like her brother's kind of going through a crisis situation and committed murder, and is trying not to get.
Do we know that? Has that already come to light?
Well, she knows. Like, I think by the next day, remember, the Black Veil is a place where the rich and famous go to, like, rub shoulders. And so gossip has gotten out. Word is out that like, it spread to the court, at least, that Soren
That
Volpe
Soren
murdered
killed the guy.
a merchant, a Stygian merchant, I heard, but also, like, depending. But so word has gotten out, gossip, because you're gossip-wise, word has gotten out that, yeah, Soren killed a merchant in cold blood in the middle of a bar full of people. But the story varies, right?
Hmm.
But also he committed murder, and that's a crime in Carpathia.
Yeah.
The king has promised that justice will be done, but what that looks like, that's what Tabitha and the king are meeting about.
I wonder what the best thing for that to look like for me is.
But merely politely trying to circle her up has failed. You're refused on that front.
Okay. I don't know, like, then, like, I don't, because circling a person could be, like, politely trying to circle them up, or it could be, like, running into them, and it's still a circles roll, and I failed it.
Right,
so,
but the way you
like,
narrated it, it was the polite approach, so there are other ways you could try to do it, but you just can't roll circles again.
Yeah.
But how, like, I just don't understand, like,
So
in order to find someone, you have to roll circles, and if my circles failed and we let it ride, then I can't find her.
You can't find her with circles. This is like if I go, hey, Dave, can I borrow $10? And Dave is like, no. And I'm like, Dave, give me $10 or I will slap you. And Dave's like, no. And I'm like, Dave, I'm really poor right now. And if I don't get $10, then the mob is going to break my legs. And Dave's like, oh, okay.
So you're saying that I could circle someone using intimidation?
No, if you can fictionally... The thing is, you have the advantage of knowing where she is all the fucking time. So all you have to do is just be like, I wait until she shows up, and I step out, and I'm like, Tabitha!
I just thought that it was mechanically the same thing.
No, circles is like the player being like, I want her to be here in this place at this time so that I can talk to her. And then if you succeeded that, bam, she's there. But this is, you have another way you have to get at her. Other people might not have this, right? Like, if you make a circles test for someone we've never seen before, who you don't know where they are or what they're about, and you fail, I can be like, cool, that person doesn't actually exist. Or like, they're in another country right now. But you have this other alternative. Or you can just let it go and do something different. Both are okay.
Okay.
So she's been coming to your house, like, not on a regular schedule, but like she'll arrive, and then the king will go and meet with her, and then she'll go home to her estate. And that happens on and off enough that you could interpose yourself in some way if you wanted to.
Yeah, I think that I have whoever it is that's my doorman, like, hey, when this lady comes here, let me know.
Okay.
And then they do. And I guess I would probably just assume that she's doing what she does every time she comes here, which is going either directly to the king or directly to Soren or directly to both of them at the same place. And so I guess I would just, oh, you know what? I want to know what they're talking about. Okay. I want to eavesdrop.
Sure.
On them.
Hell yeah.
How are you going to do that? So your intent is to listen in on one of their, or learn what they talk about in secret. And when you say they, do you mean
Tabitha, the king, and Soren?
Okay. Sure. So you want to be able to hear what or know what all three of them are talking about together. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what is the vector by which you accomplish that goal?
Sarika.
Okay, cool. Poor broken girl.
I have her be the person who's like, I don't know, serving them tea or wine or just like, yeah. Is like, I don't know. There's definitely like, I don't know if there would be servants around when they're having a private conversation, but there's usually always servants around.
So right? I was going to say that's a thing. And I noticed this particularly watching The Crown. There are scenes in which someone will say like, I wanted to meet with you in private. And there's like 6 people in the room.
Yeah. And there's like 4 or 5
like,
people.
You don't exist. Okay. Let's see if this is one of those things. This is like a servant wise or a staff wise role.
Staff wise. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I've ever used staff wise before.
You've definitely forked staff wise.
I've definitely forked it, but I don't know if I've made a plain roll. Yeah, I think I need to enter it into my staff wise. Shut up.
I was laughing at something Elf said in chat. I was mean to Sarika once. It was fun. Yeah, Sarika, in case we've forgotten, Sarika is like the only witness to Agatha's cursing of the queen. And then she spent some time in the company of the Magus, which is never good for you. Look what it did to Joy.
Okay. So I'm declaring that there would be servants or people present that are considered not really there.
Yes. Yeah. What you're saying is that
it's like still private.
It is typical for people to have private conversations with servants in the room.
Okay.
You're establishing a fact about the world.
And what's the ob for this fact about the world?
I don't know. Up to you.
Can I fork into wises?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally. It's just a skill test.
Okay. Well, this is an estate-wise test because it's my estate and I know how things operate.
It's on an estate. Yes. Yep. Totally.
It's also a would inconspicuous fork in here?
Because that's your personal physical skill at being inconspicuous.
Noble-wise?
Yep. This is about nobles for sure. This is a thing that nobles do.
Okay. Would court-wise also fork?
No, this is more like in private.
Okay.
Spying-wise, creep-wise.
Manipulation-wise?
Class struggle-wise. No, you're not manipulating anybody.
Okay. Court gossip-wise? Because this is how you fucking get gossip, by having servants in the room listening to people chat.
It's like a vector for gossip, sure.
Okay. So it's an ob2.
Sure.
And I have 3 modifiers. And I'm still gonna roll badly.
There you go. You did it. Okay.
Okay, so the thing is that yes, there are always servants about doing random bullshit, and they're considered not really present for the sake of private conversation.
Yeah, so we'll have a scene with I guess so there's a secondary role here where you're the you finagle putting Serica
in the
as
place of yeah. So what would that be? Also staff? No,
no. This one's like estate wise. This is you or estate management, right? Making sure that she's the person in that role.
Okay, so I could do estate management.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's just making sure that the right servants are in the right place.
Could etiquette be a part of that? Be like, because the king and these people are of such high rank, it makes sense to have a lady, a courtier.
Right, you don't have access to the meetings, but you're the person who gets to decide what they eat or drink because you're mistress of the house, right? So you decide what gets served at the meetings and like who's there.
He hates.
Like
Here
it.
you go.
Okay, so estate management, forking in etiquette.
Alessandra surveillance state here.
Yeah, forking in staff wise.
Mm-hmm.
Forking in noble wise.
Yep.
And what's the ob for this test? Just like
probably similar. Like it's probably not that hard a test.
Yeah, are these people really trying to like maintain a certain staff of their like favorite?
I think the failure here is that someone, Tabitha, notices and knows who Serica is and is like, no, not you. Someone different. Yeah, that's all. That she's overridden, and the king is like, "Fine, Tabitha, we'll send her away." And so
what's the ob?
Two.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 forks. Please, this one also works.
This is the one that really counts.
Yay, I did it. Barely. Oh my god.
Way to manage your estate.
Thank you.
Okay. So now the final payoff of all of that is set the scene. So it's you and Serica.
Yeah, so you said that she'd been kind of like distant-eyed and quiet.
She's yes, something is damaged about her in the sense that she's just kind of like not all there most of the time. I think she probably stopped being useful at fulfilling the higher level functions of her job. Mm-hmm. Like you'd be like
that when she led Lodovic around and like gave him the rundown on the etiquette. That's kind of, she's gotten worse, or
yes, yeah, she's like distinctly worse as time goes on, to the point where you're like, all right, I need to get dressed for whatever, and she'll bring you like a summer dress that's like you haven't worn in a long time, or like she'll put your jewelry wrong and lose it. Like she's just like not all
slowly unraveling,
not all home anymore. The lights are flickering.
So I feel like this is probably as tender as Alessandra gets, but she thinks back to like she treats Serica like a small girl. Mm-hmm. And she, like, Serica was waiting on her or whatever. And I think that like Serica was probably like brushing Alessandra's hair. Mm-hmm. And Alessandra like stops her hand and like turns to her and like maybe like sits her down at there's some other like seating area, and there's this show of like, I don't know, soothing platitudes, probably like, you've been so off lately, is something bothering you, is there a young man involved, like blah blah blah. It's not
so
like,
if you don't give her a chance to speak, she just stares at you unblinking.
That's horrifying. And then, yeah, I think she just like this, like she's making a show of circling around to what she wants. And maybe not actually paying attention to how Serica's reacting to it. And then, like after all the like, you blah, 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 blah. How about you can have a break from attending to me for today, and wouldn't you love to serve the king and that lovely gentleman, Soren. I know that you, and she makes some kind of like.
I assumed this conversation was after the fight. You don't have to convince her to do this. She'll do whatever you want. Like,
it's already happened?
Yeah, it's already happened. Because there's no point in you being like, I'd like you to do this. You just told her you did it and she's doing it.
Okay. I thought that, yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, this could be after when she's already.
It's already
like,
happened.
So she still is your like handmaid or whatever, but you keep her busy when you're doing other stuff. And so.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were like saying like persuade her to do.
No, you don't have to. She does whatever you tell her to because she's broken, and also like that's how it works.
Okay, then yeah, she does this whole like talk about random stuff, and then she says, "This morning when you were with the king and Soren and Tabitha, did you by chance have your ear open like I asked for you to do? Anything mentioned that might be of interest, or?" And
she's like, seems like she's thinking, and she says, "No, mother, I didn't see anything."
Sarah, you know that I'm not your mother.
And she just like blinks, and she's like, "No, of course.
I asked you to serve the king and to tell me what was said in his meeting with the Lady Tabitha and Lord Soren, and they said nothing. They were silent for an hour and a half."
"No."
"Then
she just stares at you like she's waiting for you to finish a sentence.
"Then what did they say, girl?"
"I asked them if they wanted tea. The king said no, but Tabitha had some, and she said she liked my dress. Soren didn't say much."
"And what did they say to each other?"
I don't...
"I told you to listen. Are your ears filled with cotton, child?"
I don't remember. The queen was on the floor as soon as I came out, and the old woman, she was going to run, and I screamed, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the rest. I don't."
"Sarah, that was a long time ago."
The king was mad and said that he didn't care what the merchant said, that no blood of Stygian spilled in Carpathia would ever amount to even a drop of noble blood, and that they could all go find a house elsewhere if they couldn't behave in his. And Tabitha said it wasn't so simple. And Soren didn't say much at all.
When she said like when they could all go find a house elsewhere if they couldn't behave in his, like what it like I don't. Are you talking about like Tabitha and Soren, or?
She just said what she said.
Okay, so that's not okay. I just didn't know if I was missing something more. So this is all about that. All right. Well, is there like in fiction, like she's obviously got some shit going on. Is there like something how about I send her to Robillard?
Yeah, he might be able to fix her.
Yes, and surely Robillard's dear friend Agatha knows a thing or two.
Right? So
I don't remember.
You think Agatha is evaporated. There was a woman at your meeting, but you don't. Yeah, like Robillard could totally like administer to her. He's a priest. He could guide her. He could guide her back to the correct path.
And it might be something that will like indicate to him that I'm like all on board and bullshit, and maybe keep him like out of my hair for a little bit longer.
Yeah, and she'll go there, and Robillard would be like, "Let me introduce you to this nice old lady who can also help you," and then she will spend the rest of her days screaming wordlessly and collapsing inward.
Wow, sounds great. Yeah.
Sounds perfect. Okay.
I've got a curse for this. It's fine.
Yeah, no. What
She'll
happens
never talk
is,
about me ever again.
What happens is, like, I'm looking at this obviously damaged young girl, and I think about how Robillard had that strange
before you send her away. I want to make sure that you get an opportunity to get what you want out of the scene. If you have something you'd like to do to get past that block, to dig at, like, because she actually did overhear a conversation. She's having a really hard time expressing it to you. If you could get to that place, then you can get some information out of her. But
could I roll manipulation wise to know how to properly get that information from her?
It's not really manipulation exactly. She wants to tell you. She's just having a problem. Like,
I'm trying to figure out how to best.
I feel like you could
what I want.
I feel like you could say manipulation if only that Serica is somebody that, like, I'm sure Alessandra has had many conversations with, or at least brief interactions with, since she went a little bit loopy, right? Like, there is a certain procedure to these things. Like,
I mean, a wise is knowing how to do a thing, right?
Yeah, it's not the thing itself though. Like, you can roll it as a link. Roll it as a linked test for another thing.
Persuade.
Okay, well, I want to know how best to manipulate her to get the information out of her that I want.
Yeah, that can be part of the linked test, right? So you make a linked test, and then I can help you choose a skill based on whether you succeed or not. Okay.
Sure. So I can fork into the linked test?
Yeah, it's just a regular test otherwise.
Okay, manipulation-wise, she's a noble, so noble-wise. What's the ob for this?
The ob for this test is 2.
Okay. I wasn't being very soothing towards the end of that, even though I said I was being soothing earlier.
No, you weren't.
Staff-wise, because she was technically like...
She works for you.
Yeah. Okay. And it's not extortion because it's not money.
No, you're not extorting her.
And I'm not persuading her yet. Can I fork in observation? Because this is based on, like, yes. Yeah, okay. All right, let's try that. You said ob 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Please, green? Yeah, green.
Please, green. So, as it currently stands, there's no bonus to your next roll.
Oh.
But usually when Serica gets this way, it's soothing platitudes that'll, like, you got a little mad at her and she started coming apart. Generally, asking her direct questions or, like, interrogating her always sends her. It's a trigger for her, right? Go figure, being interrogated. So being gentle with her and, like, phrasing it a different way, it helps.
Oh, she's so broken now that she doesn't like questions. She only likes instructions, and that's why she still works as a servant.
Boom.
Okay, so yeah, Alessandra gets frustrated and says, like, a mean thing, and then, like, gets that tiny tidbit of information, and she, like, lets out a long sigh. Mm-hmm. And then I think that she gets up and goes to stand behind Serica and takes the brush from her hands that she's still holding because she, like, just doesn't do anything unless you tell her.
Yeah.
And I start to brush her hair.
Okay.
And I hum something that I know she would recognize because it's the same thing that my mother hummed to me when I was a little girl.
You're such a fucking monster. You're a terrible, terrible person.
This is so good. I love it so much.
It's all in service of, like, the worst petty shit. Like, how can I make this girl feel better so that she'll tell me the gossip about what my enemies were saying to each other? It's so good.
Kill all nobles.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, you're a villain. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, her will is quite low. It's a soothing platitude test. We'll say obtuse.
Okay. And can I fork in musical instrument?
No.
Damn, I don't have singing.
I know you don't. You're like, I play her a sweet lute solo.
A bird that doesn't know how to sing. That's so. Okay, well, she's a noble, so noble-wise.
Yep.
And she's staff, so staff-wise.
Yep.
And I'm manipulating her, so manipulation-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no, I linked that. Can I still fork it?
Oh, no. If it was if that was the test, you can't also fork it.
Okay.
But you can fork all the other shit around it.
Okay. And yeah. Persuasion? Is that the test?
No, the test is soothing
platitudes,
platitudes, but persuasion forks.
Persuasion, I'll fork in. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's see. You said B2 or Ob2?
Yeah.
Green.
Whoa. So soothed. Okay.
I'm the worst person in the world.
You're a nightmare. You're a fucking.
It really takes a lot of pressure off the rest of us that you're.
You're like so. Like I'm a murderer.
Like
but you're
okay,
so evil that it doesn't matter.
Can we be real here? Alessandra is a worse person than the character who very nearly destroyed the entire kingdom with hateful magic by accident. You're a worse person than him. So
whatever.
So okay, so you're brushing her hair, and what do you say to like prompt her story? So she seems to calm her body language like lapses a little, and she like unfolds her arms from her chest, and you can see her. I think the two of you are looking into a mirror, so you're looking at her in the mirror, and she like kind of calms a little.
Yeah, and like I hum the little tune, and then I say like I lead her. I lead her gently along. And I say something like, you poured tea for the Lady Tabitha, and she complimented your dress. And then she turned to the king and said,
so I think she says, I know you always taught us that it's not right for a lady to listen when she oughtn't be listening, but I couldn't help it, Mummy. Cousin Alessandra made me. She told me she'd be cross if I didn't. And so I listened, but not too hard. And she like, you can see she's being like kind of shy and like looking away. And she's also acting way younger than she actually is.
Yeah. No, that's what scars do. Yeah. And so I like roll my eyes, but like trust that she's probably not watching that closely. And I say, oh yes, cousin Alessandra, she's always been a little bit of a bitch now, hasn't she, sweetheart?
And she like gasps and like puts her hand over her mouth, and she's like, no, cousin Alessandra's just ambitious. She just wants the things that she wants, and she can be a bit mean sometimes, but she means best. It's hard here, far away from home.
Oh, of course it is. So oughtn't you then to help her if she means what's best?
I try. I have been trying. Things are so very hard. But I did as she asked, and I listened to their conversation, and they seemed very upset. I think something very bad is going to happen soon. The king is worried. They spoke about the guards and about protecting the court, about the house being indefensible, and how if the merchants sent mercenaries to seize up Lord Soren, then they would certainly be able to storm the house, and then what would happen? The king seemed sure that they would be able to defend it, but Tabitha didn't think so. The Lady Volpe, I'm sorry. She said that they wouldn't be able to, and that they would need someone named Ludwig, and to talk to him, and that she would do that, and that she would be able to make him change their minds, and that they would free Lord Captain Volpe, and they would understand that the man he killed was very bad, and that he did a bad thing and needed to die, that he was a spy or something from far away. And then they talked about things that I didn't understand about the war. And then the king became cross, and Lord Captain Volpe seemed upset, and then Tabitha left. There wasn't any more. I was going to tell Cousin Alessandra, but sometimes my head gets foggy, Mummy. I can't remember things the way I used to. I just hear the buzzing. All those flies. And she's talking, and her body is like there's just tears just like coming down her face, but she doesn't realize she's crying.
Yeah.
And it's not like sobbing, but like her body is in panic mode, and she's not there. She's gone somewhere else.
Yeah, and I think that I feel like a terrible person. It's fine. Alessandra sees it, and instead of feeling like genuinely sorry for her, she gets that way that people who like don't, people who are like, oh, I see someone who is like needs help and isn't necessarily like physically able, and instead of being like whatever, they get like, ugh.
Yeah, right.
That's what happens with
like
Alessandra.
It's like the disgust of sort of
weakness. She sees how weak and broken this girl is, and instead of being like tender, genuinely, she's like, "This is disgusting." And she like that's probably when she's like, "Yeah, I don't want to. I'm not gonna try and like use this girl anymore. Like, I don't want to have to put up with this bullshit. I don't want to have like whatever." So I think that would probably be like, okay,
you're like, get out of here.
Like, get up, go to your room and I don't know, do whatever it is that you do. Go back to
dismiss her. Okay.
Yeah, and then I would.
So once the like maternal platitudes act is withdrawn, she kind of comes back into like herself. And then gets really embarrassed that she apparently has been crying, and she can't remember any of the past like few minutes. And like she touches her face and looks at her hands, and then looks at you like you're gonna get mad at her for whatever she can't remember.
Oh, it's quite all right. Do you remember Uncle Robillard?
And she says the bishop.
Not a bishop anymore, darling, but he does have a soft spot for those in need of tender mercies, and I think that he would really enjoy your company. He's been yammering on about family recently, so I will have Adeline write a letter for you, and you can go and have a nice visit with family. How do you feel about that?
I don't want to leave the court. I'm sorry, cousin. Whatever I've done to upset you, please. I only want to stay and serve you in the court. And what if I and like she can see her like hyperventilating. Like you're like, I'm gonna just like go have a nice visit with our weird religious uncle who's probably gonna like getting sent away to a monastery means like you fucked up and you have to go be a nun now, and she's panicking.
Yeah.
Also, is this a convenient time for our letter to show up?
I want this to be Alessandra's fault, and I want the letter to show up and be like, oh, what a perfect opportunity. Like, I'd like that to be an after effect of that. And also, this is, I think, a little earlier than that. But, so yeah, she's looking at you like pitiably, like, wait, like, what did I do? Whatever it is, I'm sorry. Do you confirm her like fears? Like, no, you fucked up, get out? Or like, are you going to be a little bit more like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, this is just a visit to our old Uncle Robillard.
I think I say something about like, oh, just like, it's not quite so worrisome to have to deal with Uncle Robillard. He's better than he used to be, I promise. It will be a learning experience for you, I think.
But I don't want to learn about the church from Uncle Robillard. I want to stay here and learn about the court from you. I've learned so much. I can do better. I promise. Please, let me stay. Here, let me make a pitiable attempt to persuade you.
Okay, my will is 6.
I'm fucking well aware. She has a persuade. I haven't burned her up, but let's give her a persuade of.
Here's a question for you, Adam.
Only up to, yes.
Is that even a skill that she would have?
I think she's
etiquette.
technically, remember, she's a lady, right? She's technically a Corvidae. And I believe Persuade is on like the lady like skill list. She just happens to be in the unfortunate position of having a cousin who's more powerful than her that treats her like a servant. She's not a serving girl. She's like a lady in waiting.
Yeah, so
Alessandra just treats her like shit.
Her skills are rusty, but they're there.
Yeah. Okay.
She was the queen's like lady in waiting, which is like a good position for a young lady to like get connected to nobles that they can marry.
You were supposed to help her.
Yeah, I was.
So she's got 2 in Persuade. She's got Corvidae wise and Powerful Women wise.
Of course she does.
Which was on here already. I don't know what she rolled to have that, but it makes sense that as a person who knows Powerful Women, that's her jam. But her ob is 6. Can you save yourself, poor girl?
No, she can't.
She got 2 6s.
She did? Holy crap!
So I'm gonna give
those are her only 2 successes, so it's gonna have to explode.
Yeah, so I'll let her roll. She's gonna use a fate point for sure.
Yeah, no, go for it, child.
Nope. Okay. So she's looking at you like, please, like, don't send me away. Like, I can do better.
Do you truly think that anyone would want to marry you, young thing, broken as you are? You have no place at the court. You are going to Uncle Robelard's, and maybe he can make use of you.
All right. I mean, I think that's definitive. Like
there was a soft sell here where he'd be like, no, he's going to help you get better. And
yeah,
then you're
just like, back. You are in my way.
Like, no,
that
you're
was
broken.
Some, like,
Go
evil
away.
stepmother shit. You just got like full fucking Disney villain levels of evil.
Oh, fuck.
May as well just send her to a farm in the countryside.
Seriously. Yeah, I was gonna suggest we do like another scene and then take a break, but I need a break now.
Yeah, think of Adam's poor little heart.
So let's take 5, and when we come back, we'll probably give the last scene. We'll let Lodovic have like a longer scene, and then we'll do our end of session stuff. So, just take a walk, everybody. Let your heart rate reduce. Come on back for more Roll20 presents Alessandra's the Worst. I mean, the Burning Wheel. After this.